the crew.
Yo, what's poppin', Crew Nation? You already know who it is, what it is, and what we do, baby. It is your boy Jay, and today we are talking about Jon Keith. Jon Keith and Bryson Gray. Who's Jon Keith? Jon Keith is the darling. Jon Keith is the darling of Christian hip-hop. He's one of the cool kids, one of the more popular guys within the space. Just dropped a really dope album. You probably should check that out. I think it's called Aramis or Aramis. I ain't never really said that out loud, but it was one of the most talked about projects of 2023 that released this year. So that is Jon Keith. And who is Bryson Gray? Well, Bryson Gray is Christian hip hop's stepbrother or stepchild. He is, let him tell it, a Christian hip hop rapper, but a lot of people love to refer to him as the Magga Rapper. The Magga Rapper who loves his 2A amendment. The Magga Rapper who really does not care whether you agree or disagree. The Magga Rapper that will in fact tell you what he feels, and he will in fact not waver and does not care about your feelings. So that Magga Rapper, Mr. Bryson Gray, somehow, some way ran across a song, and he took offense to said song. Now, this is kind of weird to me because Mr. Bryson Gray said that he really does not listen to or Lecrae, Jon Keith, or anybody like that, but somehow, some way, Mr. Gray ran across this song. Now, look, he very well could have had said song sent to him. And I'm not denying that fact if that was in fact the case, because I don't take Bryson Gray to be a liar. So if he says that he doesn't listen to it and somehow, some way ran across this, then at that point, okay, I can understand that. Hey, Bryson, look at this. They got to be talking about you. And so Mr. Gray took offense to some lyrics. Now, me personally, I don't remember the song specifically. I did in fact listen to the album. I have a couple of his songs upon my personal playlist, and those are the ones that I listen to now. But I don't really recall this song. Now, I didn't want to listen to it when I started gathering this information. I wanted to do a live reaction. So what we are about to do right now is we're going to listen to these lyrics, and we are going to see how direct these shots were, or if Mr. Gray should be or feel upset. Let's do this.
I crashed the coupe. Some of y'all is corny. You say you know the truth, but the way you Magga step, I wonder if he knows you.
Yo. Okay, Mr. Keith. So how do I see this? Okay, first and foremost, those definitely seemed direct. Those were direct bars. Now look. Mr. Gray gets upset and he's like, yo, if you're going to talk about me, put a name on it. Jon Keith, put a name on it. Now look, this is very Bryson Gray of him, because Mr. Gray, the reason he's saying this is because he's never been shy of putting a name on it. As a matter of fact, the way that he became known within the CHH space is because he put a name on it. He mentioned the GOAT's name, Lecrae, and that is when Christian hip hop took notice. So he wanted him to say, put a name on it. But I'm going to tell y'all why he wanted him to put a name on it, because he just wanted to be okay with being able to respond. See, that's what y'all don't understand. This is the game that Bryson Gray is playing right now. See, Mr. Gray has been waiting for his chance. Mr. Gray has been waiting for his opportunity to address Christian hip hop as a whole, and he hasn't quite found his way to do so, and now this is his chance. He took a shot at Lecrae. I think he said some subliminals in other songs, but this is his moment. And the way that I know this is I have keynotes to his live, right? I didn't watch the whole thing. It's too long to watch. But I have certain keynotes to his live, and his thing was... Wait a minute. Well, because I just thought about this. Mr. Gray, like I said, has constantly not been with the way that Christian hip hop rocks. But Mr. Gray has been waiting on an opportunity to respond to Christian hip hop. Now, in Mr. Gray's mind, according to the keynotes that I have to his live, he says, hey, this is a clout run. This is a way. Don't nobody know Jon Keith. This is a way for me, or for them to get me to say something and they know I'm going to say something. After Mr. Gray says, yo, Jon Keith, put a name on it, Mr. Keith jumps in and he says, hey, if the shoe fits, wear it. Which is the same thing Lecrae said about Caleb Gordon on whether or not those lyrics were really about Mr. Gordon. He says, hey, if the shoe fits, wear it. And Mr. Gray is deciding to wear said shoe. So now Mr. Gray gets his chance, his opportunity to address Christian hip hop as a whole. He is about to let off an entire clip. No pun intended. But here is my thing. See, this is really a one-sided battle. Mr. Gray is not going to win this battle. He may win it like directly, like shooting direct shots. But nothing that Mr. Gray does can win him this fight. Because of what I said in the beginning, because of who Jon Keith is. Jon Keith is the darling of Christian hip hop. Jon Keith is easily, when we talk about hottest rappers in the game, Jon Keith is probably no further than 7. When we whoa. Jon Keith is probably top 5 when we talk about hottest artists within the game of Christian hip hop right now. That's who Jon Keith is. So not only does he have the support of the fans, his peers love him. So when I say that there's nothing that Bryson Gray can do to actually win this battle, well, I totally and 100% fully mean that. Because Christian hip hop is not going to allow this to go unscathed. This is going to be really interesting. I promise. You just got to pay attention. But Bryson Gray is going to go ahead and he's going to go ahead and throw these direct shots. And so what should Jon Keith do in this situation? You ask yourself. Should Jon Keith respond? Should Jon Keith ignore this? Should Jon Keith, just laugh about it in his group chat, which is probably what already going to happen? What does Jon Keith do? Because Bryson Gray is definitely going to respond. I've told you, he said in his live, he's going to respond. I told you guys he's been waiting for this moment. And there's about to be a lot of bombs, a lot of missiles thrown in this. And he's going to fire because he doesn't know if Jon Keith is going to respond. So he's going to let it off on everybody. Bruce Line is getting it. Cray is getting it. Jon Keith is getting it. No big deal. Maybe. I don't know. And it's kind of crazy because Bryson Gray likes some Christian hip hop artists. He really likes Caleb Gordon. But this is what Bryson Gray is going to do. And what Christian hip hop is going to do is it's going to protect Jon Keith in any way that they can. And it's going to be very interesting how Christian hip hop is going to respond. Notice I said how Christian hip hop is going to respond. Why? Because we just had an incident where Christian Gray said CHH is dead and Christian hip hop swarmed. Like when Christian hip hop want to stand against something, it really can. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen it with the Gavi situation. We've seen it with the Christian Gray situation. And it's going to be very interesting if we are going to see this with the Bryson Gray situation. Now, what do I say? I say, y'all got to let them fight. No. Wait. I don't mean physically fight. But y'all got to let Jon Keith fight this one out. Like, y'all got to let Jon Keith handle this situation himself. The reason I say this is because it was Jon Keith's voice who said something very specific to a self-proclaimed Christian hip-hop artist. Magga rapper, conservative Christian rapper in Bryson Gray. There's only one. People say Tyson James, but people on this side of the space, of the Christian hip-hop space, don't really know him like that. But Bryson Gray? See, everybody, there are a lot of people saying, oh, I don't know who that is, and I've never met him. Goat Cray said it before, Cap. You have seen his face. You know that people ran to you when he called you out. You know, you've actually commented, like Bryson Gray said, to him in our comment section, but you did in fact say, I don't know you or whatever the case is, but I call cap because there's no way you didn't hear about the ruckus, right? If Jon Keith is acting this way, I call cap as well. Because of how many situations that Ruslan and Bryson Gray has had. And Jon Keith and Ruslan are still really good friends. So, with that being said, I know he knows. And when we say rapper and Magga and put these things together, and you say you know the truth, but it's like he don't even know you. Like, when you say things like those are very direct. Those bars were specifically for Mr. Gray. And the crazy part about it is this Jon Keith got away with it for, this dropped in March, I believe? Almost 3 months? But y'all gotta let Jon Keith fight this out because he said what he said. Now he has to take what's coming from the other side because that's not fair. Right? That's not fair. You can't say what you want to say and then just act like then let it go. And then, to also go in Jon Keith's comments or to also go in his comments and say, yo, if the shoe fits, hey, I mean, you could have said no, played it off like everybody else do, lied about it. But now you're like, hey, if the shoe fits, y'all got to let Jon Keith fight this one out. Whether or not he responds, whatever. But I don't need other Christian hip hop artists because this is what's going to happen. Taking on Bryson Gray. While Bryson Gray is about to fire a full clip, y'all got to let Jon Keith fight this one out because Jon Keith is the one that brought this, whatever this is going to be. So with that being said, because I know that y'all have been waiting. I know y'all, other Christian hip hop artists have been waiting for this. Now, if he mentions your name specifically within this record, okay. Okay, it's fair game. Y'all can have it. But Jon Keith got to fight this one out. Now, will he be looked at any differently? By some of the real rappers in the game? Some of the people who enjoy competition? Maybe. I mean, he's still going to be that guy. He's Jon Keith. There's nothing that Bryson Gray can say to take away his place within Christian hip-hop stardom. But I believe by some of the people who enjoy this type of thing or who would welcome this type of thing or who have been waiting on their chance to do it, yeah, I believe they will. The fans? Yeah, you're going to have some fans going to be like, yo, nah, he got to come back. You're going to have some fans, oh, no, that's not Christ-like. Oh, no, you can't respond. You're going to have some of the OGs be like, man, it ain't no point. Just let him do what he do because they understand there's no stopping this. You're going to go and he's going to come back even harder. He doesn't care. Bryson Gray does not care. But I believe if he said something, y'all got to let him fight this one out. In whatever way that may be, he can get on a live and say, you know what? That ain't what it was supposed to be, man. My bad, Bryson, and go about his way. That'd be him fighting back. That'd be him doing something about this. All I'm saying is y'all can't shield him from this one. I don't know. Y'all already know, man. I like Jon Keith. I've already told y'all where he sits, right? I've already told y'all I have some of his songs on my playlist. Like, this isn't to bash Jon Keith. All I'm saying is if he says something first, because that's the way that we always do, right? And I don't know if Ruslan really could say something because of what he did, with Shaolin. Like, he responded. And Ruslan's good at confrontation. Like, Ruslan would take something head on. He's not scared of that. But thus, Bryson Gray is the same way. All I hope is that it doesn't get out of hand. It shouldn't. At the end of the day, this is what the essence of hip-hop is. We call ourselves Christian hip-hop. We're just a subgenre or a product of hip-hop. Like, y'all know this. Don't act dumb on this situation. And you will say, well, these things shouldn't happen. Well, I mean, or they should have no place in Christian hip-hop. Well, but that's my take on this. Why don't you all let me know what you all think? Hit that like button, hit that red subscribe button, put it in the comments, and that's all.